Welcome to our webinar, Affirmations for Self-Healing from Swami Kriyananda's book. My name is Nayaswami Devarshi. I'm here with Brahmachari Jemal, and we'll be speaking this week on the topic of perseverance and doing the affirmation and the prayer from Swamiji's book. So let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yoganandaji, Saints of all religions, we humbly bow at thy feet. Divine Mother, help us to be inwardly strong, steadfast, persevering through all tests and trials, through all of our duties and obligations, especially the highest duty of all, to serve thee, to love thee, to share thee with all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the topic this week is perseverance, and this is what Swami Kriyanandaji writes about this. Loyalty, my great spiritual teacher used to say, is the first law of God. Most people are fickle. They change their jobs, their spouses, their friends, their beliefs, their ideas, not because of any new expansion of awareness, but because they lack the simple power of perseverance. One must be loyal to one's principles and not allow oneself to be ruled by sentiment. To be loyal to others and to one's assumed goals in life, not for sentimental reasons, but in the name of principle, is the way of divine progress. Perseverance can be difficult, for in every undertaking, there is a certain amount of dull routine. Don't be ruled, therefore, by likes and dislikes, but do whatever has to be done. If it is right, let nothing intervene until the job is finished. And we'll practice this affirmation together, first very loudly, and then more and more quietly. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Again, repeat after me. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Now, more quietly, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And now whispering, but with intense inner power, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And now mentally only, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And now finally offering it silently upwards to the spiritual eye, mentally repeating it. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And mentally pray with me. Though the sirens of distraction call me to turn aside and relax the sternness of my dedication, keep me steadfast on my path, Lord. My goal in life is Thee. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now Jemal will share some on this topic.
Thank you, Devarshi ji. So the first thing that I want to talk about is my word is my bond. Just imagine what the world would be like if every human being really lived those 5 words, where if they said they were going to do something, that they actually did it, or if it's another way of just saying if everyone spoke the truth. But I think most people in the world, their minds are so scattered that they might even want to say the truth and then do what they say they're going to do, but they forget or they get pulled in another direction. You know, most people are just being almost pushed around by their karma, by their likes and dislikes, by their subconscious mind. They're dreaming, they're not awake, they're just going kind of wherever life takes them. And but we as devotees, we want to make those 5 words very true, that our word is our bond, and that if we say that we're going to do something, that we will do it. And if we set our will to it, then we will not stop until it is done. And it is important on the spiritual path to have a strong will and to set our mind and our resolution towards particular goals and then accomplish them. And obviously, the biggest goal that we're setting our mind to, our hearts, our will, our entire being, is finding God. But it can be or seem that the spiritual path is a long journey and that it takes an entire incarnation. And we have to be willing to accept that and put in the effort that it takes. And so this word perseverance, that I can see that it applies to all kinds of different aspects of the spiritual path. That we say that we will practice Kriya every day for those of us who are Kriyamans. Perhaps you are trying to start a meditation practice, but if you set your will to it and say that you're going to meditate every day and then persevere for a few months, a few years, great gains will come, great spiritual gains. But if one just tries a little here and then maybe not for a few days, that we really won't make any spiritual progress. Perseverance also is really tied into loyalty. That Swamiji mentions that word here a few times in this reading. And being loyal to our principles is extremely important on the spiritual path. It is another aspect of perseverance, that once we know that we have true and right principles, that if we stick to them, even when it's difficult, even when everyone else is doing the popular thing, that if we know what is right and we do that, even I've been trying to sell everything this evening with spiritual progress, but even not looking at it from a point, will I make spiritual progress? We feel good inside when we do the right thing. And to me, I'm often guided by feeling, but I want to speak about that a little bit, because this reading says that we can't be guided by sentimental reasons or by likes and dislikes. And those also, too, are an aspect of feeling, but those are more of an outer aspect of feeling, centered in the emotions and the outward ups and downs of what's going on outwardly in life. But the deeper feeling that I'm talking about is more of an inward one, more of a silent, quiet, listening to God, as to what is right, listening to our conscience. And it takes time to learn how to listen to God's quiet, sensitive voice, but we can train ourselves and we can develop intuition more and more until we can come to the point where our intuition is never wrong, where we simply know that we're listening to God. We know what God's voice sounds like. And of course, that's going to be unique for every human being of what God's voice sounds like. Swami Kriyananda used to joke that if you were asking God, what do I put on toast? You won't hear a sound from the heavens, butter, in a loud, resounding, booming bass voice, that's God's voice. That I assume that God's voice is going to sound different to each one of us. And in the highest uh, states of communion with God, that it won't even be a voice, even an inner voice. It will be more of a quiet, just feeling of what simply is. Master used to say that you won't know how you know, you'll just know. And so this discrimination, this intuition, it can be developed so that we can know what is right and wrong. And I think many times we equate doing what's right with what is difficult and doing what's wrong with what is easy and fun. But if we take a few minutes to think about life and think, do we want the long-term fun, the fun that lasts for many years or many incarnations? Or do we want the short-term fun that might be doing the wrong thing, that I think as we all grow older in age, as we all grow older spiritually, we just get to a point where we say, the other kind of fun, whatever it may be, whatever your likes and dislikes may still be, it's not worth it. That we've tried that before. We've gone in that direction before. And it's just simply not as good as the quiet, simple joy that comes with inner communion, that comes with meditation, that comes from living a simple life and a right life. Master used to say that once you eat good cheese and then you compare that with stale cheese, you no longer even want the stale cheese. It's no longer a temptation. And so the more we persevere in doing what is right in this world, in listening to our conscience, to God's whispers within, the more we're going to live a life of true joy. And to me, that's the purpose. So with that, I'll hand it over to Devarshi.
Thank you, Jemal. These qualities that are described in the reading, which are perseverance, loyalty, steadfastness, a certain strong inner sternness. In terms of yoga, I'm just going to go off on a different direction with this. It's the first chakra. And we think of the lower chakras as kind of the bad chakras. We don't want to be in the lower chakras, but in fact, they have really divine qualities that we can really develop. They also can pull us downwards into delusion. But the first chakra is actually very important in this aspect because it represents the earth element. And the earth element, and with all the chakras, when the energy is flowing inwards and upwards, then we get the uplifted qualities of that chakra. When the energy is flowing down and out, then we're indulging in the downpulling negative qualities. And so it helps sometimes, rather than trying to tune into an ephemeral quality like perseverance, to tune into the earth power, the power of the earth, of the first chakra. Because when we tune into the earth, that earth is the power of being steadfast, of being grounded, of being stable, of just the farmer. He just does his tasks. He plows the field, he plants the seed. It's a lot of drudgery at times. And I've done a lot of gardening and farming, and you go through your duty, and you see that those who are tuned into the earth in a good way, they have these qualities of the divine qualities of the earth, of steadfastness, loyalty, a certain stubbornness, but in a good way, of sticking to principles in a positive way. The negative side of it, of course, is stubbornness and unwillingness and being stuck. The earth, quality is being stuck. If it's your feet are stuck in the mud and you can't get out. And so it can help to just try to change ourselves by tuning into that chakra, but also to the element. And when we have these the main four elements of this world in balance, you'll find that the person is in balance. It's very interesting, even outwardly, in places on the planet where the earth, water, fire, and air elements are all really strong, but in a balance. These places are always really magical. And one place I can think of is the island of Hawaii. I've been there a few times, and it's like an astral paradise. And it has all four of those elements. The earth is very present, and even the natives there have worshipped the earth for many years. The fire from the sun and from the volcanoes and the lava, the water of the ocean and the rains that are always there, and the rich air that is breathed from being cleansed by the ocean. And when all those elements are in balance and powerfully strong, then it creates a really magical energy and a balanced and invigorating and giving energy. And so this is why, for all of us, these qualities of earth, air, fire, water are actually helpful to tune into. If we have the earth quality developed, we add the second chakra, which is the water element. Earth without water becomes dry and infertile. Water is fertility. The second chakra is the fertility of creating new life. And so, but that water element, even if we're not creating new life, it is the power of creativity and creation, and also just flowing with life. But if we flow too much and we're not grounded, then we just become wishy-washy. And even the word wishy-washy is just the water just going back and forth and not really doing much of anything. And then, of course, the fire element. That water needs the fiery self-control, which is the third chakra, to keep that creativity focused and strong. And then the heart is the air element, which is very expansive. That's why the sound of the heart chakra, when you hear the Om sound of the heart chakra, it's a gong or a bell that's resounding and resonating and expanding with that air element. And so this earth element, we can see things as drudgery, or we can just see these things simply as our duty as being here on this earth and living on this earth and having our feet on the ground. That's something that we just do. That's just part of our duty here in this life. And when we do that, you'll find yourself getting more grounded. I find one of the best ways to ground myself is just to clean my house. Just to, I'm on a day off or something and I'm a little ungrounded and I'm not working because I've been pushing all week long and I have a day off. And maybe my mind starts to get scattered. And I find just cleaning the house does a very good job of just grounding me. Taking a walk every day, I find to be the most grounding thing when my mind just starts spinning with all the projects and ideas and tests and challenges, and it starts getting hot from all the stuff that's going on in this world and in my own life at times. If I just go for a walk where my feet are just one step by step touching the ground, one step after the other, it's very calming and very grounding and helping me to tune in an uplifted way to that earth element. And so try to tune in these ways. If you need to develop this perseverance and steadfastness and loyalty, work with that earth element in ways that you can. Again, it can be taking walks, it can be working in a garden, just anything that is grounding, even that word grounding, it's the ground, it makes us stable. Same with sadhana and meditation. I think you'll find that having a firm asana when we meditate, being firmly on the ground, but our body being in a firm position, gives us this firmness and this steadfastness within our natures. And so when we can work on these qualities within, you'll find that we start to develop this balance of the different qualities and just the nature of the person. And you'll see people also who have all of these qualities strong, but in balance, but especially going upwards, up the spine, rather than down and out, that you'll see the saints had this. Swami Kriyananda, he was just very interesting. Balance of these things. He, astrologically, he was a Taurian. Taurus is the bull. And he, when he was younger, those of us who knew him when he was younger, his body was like a bull. He was very stout and strong. He played American football even in college, even though he was relatively small for that sport. But he had this steadfastness, and he also had a really very, very strong tendency to really put his nose to the grindstone, as they say, of just working hard. And even his writing, because I was on his staff for some years, and I lived in the house where he lived. And when he wrote, he would show up at that office, he would work hard, he would do the work and just be there, putting out a lot of energy, even though writing, even at times, is drudgery, honestly, as I've experienced this with writing. The way that Swamiji, I think he put it, was that a lot of writing is like plumbing. Basically, it's just fixing the words, and the inspiration is there, you've come up with the idea, then there's the hard work of just really kind of making it come across and communicate an idea really, really well and clearly. And he would say that he would edit 50 times an entire section of something, just going over and over and over again. And this is the hard work of people who accept that a certain amount of duty, drudgery, yeah, it's required to accomplish anything in life. This is why you see this with farmers. They're out in their field working, putting out the energy, doing what's needed, coming home, and it's actually very balancing and grounding to do gardening because of that. Because you see that the fruits of your labor are very real. And if you don't do the labor, there's not going to be any fruits or flowers coming up. It's just a very clear example of you do the work and the fruit comes up. And again, gardening too works with all these elements, not just the earth, but water, air, sunlight and fire and all these things. And so again, try to work from within at times with loyalty and duty and doing the job. Yeah, it's outward. We have to act and do these things. But if you develop these inward qualities of these elements, and doing it in meditation also can be very helpful. And Swamiji, I forget which of his books he does this, but he gives different meditations on these different four elements as ways of developing these qualities. Because let's face it, we're made of these elements ourselves, our bodies. We're living in an earth, breathing the air, stuck on the ground. I mean, we're not flying yet through the air physically in our bodies, and so we are tied to the earth to some extent, and to the air that we breathe, and to the warmth of the sun. We'd freeze without that. And water, of course, you can live longer without air almost than without water. Water itself is life itself. And so earth sometimes is overlooked because of the drudgery aspect of it and the duty aspect of it. But do work on this, and you will find that it gives not just grounding, but just a real power, a stout kind of a power to everything that you do. And so Jemal now will finish by reading the reading again and doing the affirmation, a longer version of it that we'll do together.
Thanks, Devarshi. So I'm going to do the reading again here. Loyalty, my great spiritual teacher used to say, is the first law of God. Most people are fickle. They change their jobs, their spouses, their friends, their beliefs, their ideas, not because of any new expansion of awareness, but because they lack the simple power of perseverance. One must be loyal to one's principles and not allow oneself to be ruled by sentiment. To be loyal to others and to one's assumed goals in life, not for sentimental reasons, but in the name of principle, is the way of divine progress. Perseverance can be difficult, for in every undertaking there is a certain amount of dull routine. Don't be ruled, therefore, by likes and dislikes, but do whatever has to be done. If it is right, let nothing intervene until the job is finished. So the affirmation, we can do this together in a loud voice a few times. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. One more time in a loud voice. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Now in a normal voice. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Now, in a whisper, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Last time in a whisper, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Let's now repeat mentally. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. Mentally, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. One last time, focusing, taking it deeply into the superconscious mind. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And we can end by listening to Swamiji's prayer. Though the sirens of distraction call me to turn aside and relax the sternness of my dedication, keep me steadfast on my path, Lord. My goal in life is Thee. Oh.
Thank you, Jemal. Thank you all. Have a good evening.